1. When mentoring new employees on the General Code of Operating Rules, GCOR, which method best ensures long-term retention of safety protocols? A. Providing memorization drills without feedback. B. Encouraging peer-to-peer discussion and scenario analysis. C. Assigning silent reading of the manual only. D. Relying solely on end-of-course testing. 2. A critical aspect of curriculum development for GCOR training is A. Designing modules that address regulatory requirements without interactive learning. B. Ensuring content is aligned with both compliance standards and adult learning strategies. C. Using only lectures for delivery to maximize information coverage. D. Relying exclusively on previous year's test items without updates. 3. During evaluation of GCOR knowledge, what assessment type best measures applied decision-making? A. True-false quizzes. B. Multiple-choice tests with only recall-based questions. C. Scenario-based case studies with problem-solving questions. D. Matching terms with definitions. 4. A mentor observes a trainee consistently misinterpreting hand signal rules. The most effective corrective action is to A. Ignore the error until the formal test. B. Offer constructive feedback with real-life examples. C. Provide a copy of the signal rulebook without explanation. D. Allow peers to correct the issue informally. 5. When evaluating communication skills under GCOR, which factor is most critical? A. The speed of information exchange. E. Clarity, accuracy, and confirmation of understanding. C. Volume of messages sent per shift. D. Reliance on jargon to demonstrate expertise. 6. Which of the following best supports regulatory compliance during GCOR instruction? A. Customizing training without considering federal mandates. B. Incorporating current FRA and OSHA requirements into the curriculum. C. Using outdated GCOR editions for consistency. D. Prioritizing speed of instruction over accuracy. 7. In adult learning, what approach ensures engagement when teaching GCOR rules for restricted speed operations? A. Reading aloud without interaction. B. Providing real-world accident case studies for group analysis. C. Offering definitions with no examples. D. Delivering one-way lectures with no questions. 8. Which evaluation method most effectively determines whether employees can apply GCOR communication rules in emergencies? A. Written multiple-choice exam only. E. Role-playing simulations requiring proper phrasing and confirmation. C. Short answer recall of terminology. D. Instructor-led reading of scripts. 9. A core principle of mentoring under GCOR is A. Giving immediate answers instead of guiding problem solving. B. Building competence through observation, feedback, and practice. C. Avoiding demonstration to reduce dependency. D. Replacing mentoring with self-study packets. What is the best instructional strategy to reduce rule violations regarding main track authority? A. Memorization drills only. B. Interactive case scenarios of past violations and corrective actions. C. Video lectures with no discussion. D. Providing only rule citations without context. 11. Which of the following best demonstrates compliance with regulatory requirements in GCOR testing? A. Designing tests that omit new FRA rule amendments. B. Including current and scenario-based questions tied to safety regulations. C. Creating exams based solely on supervisor preference. D. Using only oral recall exams without written assessment. 12. When mentoring an operator who struggles with signal recognition, the most effective approach is A. Provide repeated exposure with guided practice and immediate feedback. B. Assign additional textbook readings only. C. Postpone training until the final evaluation. D. Allow the operator to self-correct without support. 13. Effective evaluation of GCOR understanding must include A. Reliance on rote memorization only. E. Both formative assessments during training and summative assessments at the end. C. Observation of written test scores alone. D. Elimination of feedback during practice. 14. Which communication principle under GCOR ensures regulatory compliance? A. Repeating critical instructions until acknowledged correctly. B. Allowing partial responses when time is limited. C. Using vague shorthand to save time. D. Prioritizing brevity over accuracy. 15. In adult learning, when developing GCOR refresher courses, which design element is most effective? A. Abstract rule memorization without application. B. Integration of self-assessment tools and real-world scenarios. C. Delivery of the same lecture format regardless of learner needs. D. Avoidance of active participation to save time. 16. Which method is most effective for evaluating compliance with track authority rules during instruction? A. Providing written definitions only. B. Role play of granting and releasing authority with instructor feedback. C. Showing pre-recorded videos without interaction. D. Assigning reading and asking for oral recitation. 17. During mentoring, a trainee struggles with emergency communication under GCOR. The mentor should A. Model correct communication and have the trainee practice until mastery. B. Provide the rulebook as homework only. C. Wait until the certification exam to test knowledge. D. Assign independent online modules without feedback. 18. A critical element in curriculum development for GCOR training is A. Structuring lessons to meet regulatory standards and adult learner engagement. B. Using outdated rulebooks to maintain familiarity. C. Excluding scenario-based learning to save time. D. Ignoring FRA and OSHA standards for faster delivery. 19. Which assessment type best determines mastery of GCOR rules for restricted speed? A. Written recall-only questions. B. Field-based simulations requiring correct judgment at restricted speed. C. Peer discussions without evaluation. D. Yes-no questioning by supervisors. 20. An effective evaluation strategy to assess GCOR mentoring success is A. Pre- and post-training performance comparisons in simulated environments. B. Tracking only attendance in training sessions. C. Reviewing rulebook familiarity without application. D. Monitoring supervisor satisfaction only. 21. When teaching GCOR compliance, the most effective communication technique is A. Confirming message receipt and repeating key terms. E. Using informal language to build rapport. C. Avoiding repeat communication to save time. D. Encouraging abbreviated codes without confirmation. 22. Which principle of adult learning is most applicable to GCOR mentoring? A. Adults learn best when instruction is problem-centered and experience-based. B. Adults prefer passive lectures with no interaction. C. Adults learn only through memorization of technical language. D. Adults require no practice if content is explained once. 23. To ensure regulatory compliance, GCOR testing programs must A. Be updated regularly to reflect FRA rule changes. B. Remain unchanged for consistency over time. C. Avoid scenario-based questions to simplify grading. D. Eliminate performance-based assessments. 24. A trainee demonstrates unsafe practices during a GCOR evaluation. The instructor should A. Provide immediate corrective feedback linked to rules and consequences. E. Ignore the error and focus on other content. C. Allow peers to address the issue later. D. Delay feedback until after final testing. 25. In GCOR instruction, which mentoring practice is most effective for skill transfer? A. Encouraging reflective discussion after simulations. B. Allowing trainees to complete tasks independently without feedback. C. Delivering information through reading only. D. Avoiding demonstration of correct behaviors. 26. When building a GCOR evaluation system, which factor ensures fairness and accuracy? A. Using multiple assessment types, including simulations, written, and oral tests. B. Limiting evaluation to a single written exam. C. Relying on subjective supervisor impressions. D. Avoiding regulatory content to reduce complexity. 27. The most effective way to address knowledge gaps in GCOR training is incorporating adaptive learning strategies tailored to the learner's performance. B. Using the same standard test for all regardless of needs. C. Ignoring weak areas and moving forward with content. D. Avoiding formative assessments. 28. When evaluating communication under GCOR, which situation requires immediate corrective action? An operator repeating instructions verbatim before acknowledgement. B. An operator failing to confirm instructions received. C. A trainee asking clarifying questions. D. A worker double-checking authority limits.